Hello, everybody. Welcome to All the Alleged Details, a white collar recap podcast where we go over each episode and analyze all the little details that matter.
Mostly to us.
Today, we're talking about the Reds, the second episode, the third episode, the first episode in the... What?
You didn't introduce yourself.
I'm so bad at this. I'm so good at being a podcast host, Rainy. I'm August.
I'm Rainy.
I will say that I call this episode the first episode in the serialization when we talk about it.
Yes, you do. Because
the vibes of it are so totally different than the pilot.
They are. They really, really are. Not in a bad way, just like there's a very clear distinction and jump from the vibes of the pilot to like what is now the rest of the show and what it's going to be going forward.
And Threads does a lot to set that up. But before we get into super analyzing it, you want to give us our summary?
I sure do. You remembered the summary this time.
I remember the summary. I forgot my name, but I remember the summary.
Well, it's Fashion Week in New York City. Neil and Peter get put on the case of a counterfeiter named Govat, which means the ghost, after a model named Tara hears him murder a designer. They throw a party to lure him out, but it goes sideways. Neil later finds and talks to one of the partygoers, pretending to be a buyer for whatever Govat is selling. The other buyer ends up dead with a dress shoved down his throat. They talk to the dress designer, who tells them that it was a decoy dress, and he gives them the real dress, which has a security fiber containing the holographic code for the euro. Govat kidnaps Tara and sets up an exchange with Peter to exchange Tara for the dress. Peter and Neil rescue Tara, and Govat is arrested. It was much briefer than our pilot summaries.
Right. Quicker to the point. And there's not quite as much, intricacies to the plot to go over.
Exactly.
I want to start on one point.
Okay.
I don't like the villain they chose for this first episode, because we just had a ghost character in the pilot. I don't like Govat being the ghost.
We had the Dutchman, and then we have the ghost.
Some other, villainous characters get cutesy little nicknames like this, but it's not often. And I just, I feel like they could have come up with something other than another ghost character.
They definitely could have. Maybe Jeff was, really into Supernatural.
That's so fair. Okay. But, besides that point,
yes.
It's Fashion Week in New York City.
It's Fashion Week.
And okay. As I was saying that this episode sets itself very different than the pilot. Season 1, especially the first half of Season 1, is very distinctly different than the rest of the show.
Absolutely.
In that it tries to be very similar to other crime shows, where, the hook of this episode is that there's a murder.
Yeah. There's a lot of murder in the first half of Season 1 of White Collar.
Which is part of why I think it's important to distinguish it's the first episode in the serialization, is that it's a murder episode, and that it's Fashion Week. Fashion Week, when you watch the entire show and you come back and you think about this one critically like this, I think Fashion Weeks is a weird and it's a very purposeful decision of really grounding it in the grandness of NYC.
Okay.
And so it always sticks out to me that it's Fashion Week. I can see why they chose Fashion Week as their first episode for actually sliding into the show.
Okay. Expand on that. Because I always thought it was kind of, I don't know. I felt like they had the idea to make this all about a dress, and then they were like, but why? And then they were like, I don't know, make it Fashion Week.
I think it's more like they wanted to make it Fashion Week because Fashion Week is so recognizable as a big event in NYC with all this.
Is it?
Huh? Is it?
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know anything about New York.
I mean, I think so.
I'm sure it is. I don't doubt you. I just, I have never heard of it outside of White Collar.
Really?
Yeah.
Boggles me a little bit. Okay, Peter. Anyway.
I'm not cultured, August.
We're sat here making a podcast about a show from 2009. I don't think either of us is very cultured.
That's not true.
Anyway. I think Fashion Week has a lot of implications around status and symbolism of models very rich people, very grand, like the party they go to or throw.
Okay.
It's very much sets up the scene for that kind of event to go on.
It certainly does. Like models everywhere and designer dresses
and so I think it's a good way to show the world that Neil Caffrey is meant to represent without being as boring as like bank fraud. You know what I mean, like the not mid-season finale stuff.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying.
So yeah, I just think Fashion Week does a lot of like celebrity statusy implication kind of things. I don't know.
Okay. In the vein of it being Fashion Week, one thing that I really, really love is how much of a sweetheart Tara is. Because I feel like most of the time models and media are portrayed as being like snobby and stuck up and really self-absorbed, and Tara is like the complete opposite of that.
Yeah.
I love her.
That's fair. She's very good.
She is.
To go back and read us in a plot point that I really like, the episode starts, Peter and Neil are struggling to get to the office because it's Fashion Week and there's models and they can't get a taxi. They finally get to the office.
Right.
Interview Tara. And there's a good moment between Peter and Tara of him like very genuinely giving her his business card, very sincerely being like, if you need me, call me.
Yes.
And I really like that. I think that's a really sweet gesture.
Me too.
I like how they ground Peter and give off his character just through that simple gesture.
Yeah, they make him like really sweet, even in like the way that he's talking to her. Like he talks very gentle and like calm to her. Like when she says she was at a party, this is like such a tiny little detail, but just the way that he says, "Why were you there?" I don't know. It's like, it's said in such a soft way.
Even when they're getting their taxi stolen by all these models. Well, and Neil gives the cabs up sometimes, but there's a group that does come and I feel like steals their cab.
Yeah, for sure.
And Peter still like holds the door open for them, and he like tells them to squeeze in so he can shut the door. It's just very soft sweetness.
It is. I have that on my notes too, because it's so cute. Just Peter, he's so like frustrated and irritated, but he's still being a gentleman about it.
Yeah.
I love him.
Love him. So it's a very good Sweet Peter episode.
It is. It really is. I love Peter. Ooh, okay. I love that this is the second ever episode. And like you say, it's the first episode of the serialization. And right off the bat, like 5 minutes in, they already have this ridiculous amount of banter between them.
Yeah.
Just the back and forth, like, you're going to think I'm crazy. That's never stopped you before.
Right.
I love it. I love it so much.
There's a whole very cute scene of Neil being so excited. It's like his first real case as an official agent. And yes. Peter's trying to figure out what the next steps should be. And it's Neil acts like he's had an epiphany.
Yes.
Where his idea is we should throw a party. But he's like nearly jumping with joy over having this idea.
He's so excited. He's so excited about it. It's adorable.
It's so cute. He's so excited. And Peter's like, what are you doing? What is this?
He literally tells him no dancing in the office.
Because Neil starts dancing because he's so excited. Like, boy.
Adorable. He's a child.
And then it cuts. Okay. It's so good because Neil's so excited. But the idea is very basic. And I can see how Neil's plan's supposed to work in like white collar world. But when it's Fashion Week and there's supposedly like thousands of models and thousands of agents and it's very lofty to think Gavotte would hear about it and show up. But I like that Peter still goes to bat for him with Hughes.
Yes. That's another thing. Like, this is their second case. Like, I mean, technically it's their first case together because Neil hopped on to the Dutchman case. He wasn't there from the beginning.
That's fair.
I mean, really, it's their first case together. And Peter is like, he does think that Neil's idea is crazy. He's like, this is ridiculous and it's not going to work. But he still defends it. And he pitches it to Hughes and he defends it. And I love that.
Right. Hughes disagrees with the idea.
Of course.
In a really good line, he's like, how do you think this would work? Why would Gavotte show up? And Neil's like, we're going to fill it with models. And Hughes is like, I like models. And he calls out to Jones, who's like just passing by the room. He just goes, hey, Jones, you like models? And Jones just goes, loves them. And keeps walking.
It's so cute.
So funny to me. Jones is not at all getting involved with whatever's going on in this meeting.
Nope. He's like, okay. Yep. Love models. Bye. He's like, he sees Peter and Neil and Hughes looking irritated and asking him if he likes models. And he's like, I'm going to stay out of this one.
I've got paperwork to do. But even with how weird the idea is, Hughes leaves and Peter like chases him down to be like, okay, we got to give Caffrey's idea a shot because he's this is the whole reason we've got him, is that he thinks like these criminals do.
Yeah, he literally says that they're cut from the same cloth.
And I see his point, but I don't like it.
I agree, yeah. Although I feel like he was less saying that they're both criminals and more saying like they both like to have a good time and they both like parties and women. Yeah.
And I would rebuttal with like almost the same thing Hughes is like, I also like parties and models, to be fair.
That's a good point. Who doesn't?
But it's white collar logic. I'll give it to him. I'm not going to think that hard about it. There's some things in our show about analyzing the little details. There's sometimes I just have to be like, and they're doing it. Sure.
There's some details you can't analyze too much because if you do, the whole thing falls apart.
Literally. We're not going to question how a man can parachute onto Wall Street. We can't question how throwing a party attracts the one man in all of New York City they're looking for.
Exactly. I loved Peter's little quip. What are we gonna do? Send him an Evite? And he replies, Ghost +1. It's such like a dated reference now, but it's so cute and it makes me smile every time.
That's so good.
I love that Neil brings Elizabeth in and gets her involved.
Yeah.
And Peter is like so confused. He's like, what do you mean? My wife? My wife? Like he literally has a broken brain second because he just stands there saying, my wife? My wife?
Right. They get permission from Hughes to throw this party, and Hughes gives them a strict budget. And
$5,000.
Neil just goes like, oh, okay, well, we'll hire Elizabeth to be our party planner. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny, and it's very Neil to be like, well, this is what I have to work with, and I'll make it work. And it's like, sure, Elizabeth's gonna be down for this. She's not busy.
Yeah, he just volunteers Peter's wife.
Yeah. So they get Elizabeth's help, and it cuts to them in evidence.
Yes.
The evidence warehouse or something.
Going shopping.
Right? They go shopping through the evidence warehouse. And this is something that only happens here. It doesn't happen at any other point in this episode or in the rest of the show.
Yeah. They never, like, use this resource ever again.
Ever. They edit in the lower third, like, text telling them what the location is. Yes. And that's fine. And
it's like, it looks like from the pilot when they were introducing Neil and Peter.
Yeah. And like that's a fine choice to make. It's weird to do it once in the episode and never again. Why not cut it? Why did they include it that one time?
It's weird to do it once in this series. It's literally here, only here, and never, ever, ever again. It's so strange.
It's not even like it continues in the rest of the episode. They do a lot of different scenes. They go to the party. They go to Central Park, Peter and Elizabeth. There was plenty of times to put in a lower third location tag. Why only here for the evidence warehouse? Did they think people would get confused? Or did they just not think to cut it that one time? I don't know. It's just a weird moment when you notice it. You're like, why is it there one time and never again in this episode or in the series?
It's so true. It's so true.
But it's a very cute scene in the evidence warehouse.
I love it. Elizabeth and Neil are so excited and Peter is just annoyed.
Yeah. They get good booze. They get good caviar. Also, do you eat caviar?
I have never tried it, but I
Okay.
would try it if given the opportunity.
I don't know if I would, like, willingly eat caviar that's been sitting in an evidence warehouse for an unknown period of time.
That's a good point. What's the shelf life?
Right? What's the shelf life? Whiskey I can understand, but, like, caviar?
Yeah, they find whiskey from 1958.
What's
Okay,
the
I have
shelf
to
life?
look this. Yes, shelf life of caviar. I'm literally typing it in.
Unopened caviar lasts about 4 to 6 weeks when refrigerated, while open caviar should be consumed in 2 to 3 days. Why are they eating caviar from this FBI warehouse?
Pasteurized caviar can last up to 6 months.
Oh, okay.
But still,
Sure, if they want to use the caviar from the warehouse, why not? Just interesting, just odd. Not a decision I would have gone with. There's a cute moment. Well, okay, there's a very Peter moment where Elizabeth and Neil are, like, talking back and forth, all excited about everything they're getting. And Peter tells them they have to catalog it, and he points to, like, one of the probies, and he goes, booze and fish eggs.
yes.
And I don't know why him dumbing it down like that, or just being so blunt about it, makes me laugh. He's tired of them being so excited. He's like, I just want to do my job and get out.
Yes. it's so funny. And then the very next scene is Peter being really proud that he found them a venue.
Yeah.
And Neil is just like, no, not that. And Peter's feelings are so hurt.
It's really interesting because I have it in my notes. I have it written down as Peter's focused on the specific details rather than, and then I wrote ... the energy ? And I said, he's focused on practical versus effective is what I wrote down.
Yes. Oh, that's a good way to put it.
Because he's very excited about the square footage of the place and that it's, like, free. Never mind the body outline drawn on the floor.
Right. Who cares about the chalk outline of a body?
Exactly. And it's so interesting. I can't quite figure out how I want to word it, and you might do a better job on it. But it's just interesting that he's very simple about it. He's like, this works. It's a space that serves its function.
Yeah.
Whereas Neil's like, yeah, but it's not going to supply the emotion it needs.
Yeah. Peter's like, it's big enough. It's at the right price. It's available to us. That's all that we'll need. And Neil is like, no, we need somewhere prettier with a better vibe.
Yeah. Like an actual party space.
Yeah.
That can live up to the expectation of the people who are coming.
To be fair, though, I feel like Neil could have made that space work.
Oh, absolutely. I think so. With the right amount of low lighting, and a rug.
A rug to cover the chalk outline. Yes.
I feel like he could have made it work.
He definitely could have. It's really cute to me that when they go to check out the venue, Elizabeth is, like, really impressed, and she's like, how did you get this? And Neil, like, saves Peter, and he's like, oh, he won't. Like, good luck getting it out of him. He's got a secret source. And Neil is the secret source, but it's just so cute. He's, like, building Peter up, letting him take the win. It's cute to me.
It's so cute. After Peter and Elizabeth leave, that just, like, pans around and shows there's a woman on the rooftop that they're throwing this party at. And Neil goes over to, like, kind of scold her, guide her away. He's, like, being very confrontational in his own Neil Caffrey way. And she matches his energy so well, and it's revealed that it's revealed that it's the character who's going to replace Diana for most of season 1. Lauren Cruz. I have mixed feelings about Lauren throughout season 1.
Me too.
But I think I mostly like her, and I specifically like her character and how she behaves. She's acted really well.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
And so it's like there's some points where I don't like Lauren's actions, but I think Natalie always does a really good job of portraying Lauren to the best of her abilities. There's always some charm to her, even if I think she's using her charm with a little bit of malice.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I love her level of snarkiness and sass, and I love how she's just like immediately immune to Neil, but she's also like kind of fond of him a little bit, but not charmed by him at all.
And she does it in this episode too, but she airs more on I don't know how I want to phrase it. Okay. The difference between how Diana and Lauren bicker with Neil is that there's a little bit more, like, Lauren cuts to the punch. Is that the saying? She cuts to the punch a little bit harder.
She does, yeah.
She's a little rougher with Neil. Diana is like more sarcastic, and Lauren's much more blunt with her like apprehensiveness.
She is. Even though I feel like Diana is more threatening and scarier.
That's fair. I don't know. Maybe it's something we'll pick out more as we go along, and we won't hold up on this point too much here. But
yeah,
I do like how Lauren's introduced. I like her in this episode. I think her and Neil have they have a lot of good banter energy. And it gets complicated as the show goes on with what they try to do with Lauren.
Yeah.
So it cuts to that night when they're throwing the party. And we've talked about it before, and I'm sure we're going to talk a lot about it more as the first half of the season goes by. But there's a lot of weirdness from Jones and Peter in the beginning of the show.
Yeah, that's my next point too. It just says Jones, ew.
And I end up just being like, they just have pervy moments. It's just what I call them.
Yeah. They were trying to lean into that, like, I don't know, typical macho man, I guess, or just like typical bro energy, but it's not our characters.
Right. It's very masculine and a very weird, very like Jones and Peter are really leaning into like this very stereotypical baseball, food. And then in this scene, it's talking about, like, Sports Illustrated and recognizing women from, like, the covers of those kind of magazines.
Yeah,
and
it's just... Joan says, is that Miss Marge? And then Peter says, Sports Illustrated, not Playboy. Ugh.
It's... It's not a good moment.
I'm so glad that they dropped that so fast, because it does not feel like Peter and Jones.
No.
It just doesn't.
And it's
especially Peter.
Very classless. It feels very classless of the characters. In a way that they very much are trying to supply after this episode. Or after the first half of season 1.
Yeah.
And so we'll talk about more of their pervy little moments in the episodes as they come up. I really don't have many notes on this. I don't have many notes on the party scene if you do.
I just 2.
Okay.
I like that Neil was trying to keep Tara calm, like, while they were at the party. He was being, like, really reassuring and sweet to her. And Lauren is really bad at flirting. Really bad at flirting.
Yeah.
She just walks up and she's like, I'm a model.
And apparently that's what works when it comes to Jones and Peter, so.
I guess. But, like, she's at a party full of models. Like, come on, Lauren.
That's fair. She does, and she's not very...
And then the guy's like, where do you work? And she's like, oh, never mind. I don't know you. Bye.
Right. She's very ungraceful about her exit. So it makes her overall very suspicious.
The whole interaction. No.
The only note I have is that I like... Because they talked earlier about Gavotte and Neil being cut from the same cloth.
Yeah.
Neil pickpockets Dimitri's phone.
Oh. Yes.
And then Gavotte plants his phone that Dimitri's phone's trying to call.
Yeah.
Plants his phone back on somebody else. And so I just like that. I like that little bit of mirroring moment that they're both clever enough to, like, evade the phone this way.
I'm glad that you called that out. Because, yeah, it's a good, like you said, it's a moment of showing that they kind of are, like, they think alike. Mm-hmm. They think similar. Mm-hmm. My next point is about Neil out on his balcony. I'm sure yours probably is too.
What you got?
Mozzie watching him like a creep and looking disappointed in Neil. Because he's just standing there for so long, just watching Neil.
He's standing there for like half a second.
It's more than that.
Hold on.
It's like a good
We're
2
gonna
or
pull
3
this up.
seconds.
I'm gonna look.
He's there for at least 4 seconds.
At 12:58, and Neil turns to talk to him at 13:03. So it's 5 seconds.
Okay, but he was standing there before the camera panned to him too.
I don't know. I don't know how much I count that because that's like set dressing. There's an extra 5 seconds, so 10 total. That's still not creep territory to me.
The way that he's just standing there completely still and silent, I don't know. It's creepy to me. And he's just got this look on his face, this like,
but I
half
feel like
blank,
it seems,
but half disappointed and judging look.
I feel like it seems like we're cutting into the mid conversation somewhat. Neil's kind of having a pouting moment.
I don't think so. Neil is absolutely having a pouting moment, but it doesn't feel mid conversation at all. It feels like Neil was like looking out over the city because he's frustrated that he fucked up and that they didn't catch the guy. He's frustrated about the anklet. He's frustrated about Kate, and so he's just like having a moment, and Mozzie like had come in and Neil hadn't heard him, and so he's just standing there waiting for Neil to notice.
Fair, but Neil just turns around and he just goes like, have you figured out how to pick this thing yet? It's very abrupt, very blunt of him.
It is, but he's upset. You can see how upset he is. It tugs at my heart.
That's fair. He's definitely that was
I'm all like, it tugs at my heart, and you're like, haha.
he's having like a crashing out moment where he's very like
He
angry,
is.
stomping around. It doesn't quite tug at my heart. I'm just like, he's like having a temper tantrum.
No, it tugs at my heart because he's frustrated, and you can see that he's like, you can tell that he's upset that they didn't get the guy. He's frustrated about it. He's frustrated that he can't go after Kate. Like, he's frustrated about a lot of things in this moment.
Yeah, I'm not discounting that. I do think it's interesting, the question of, has Mozzie learned how to pick it?
Yeah.
Because that implies that Neil wants to run, but he wants to run quietly.
Yeah.
Because we've learned, we're about to learn in future episodes that Neil can just cut it. It cuts with scissors.
It does cut with scissors very easily.
So there's not really anything stopping him from running. It's not like he physically can't remove the anklet.
Very true.
So there's just a very interesting writing moment there. Where it's like, what does Neil really want in this moment?
So many things. I think even now, like already at this point, I think he's torn. Because I do think he does really want to solve the case. But he also wants to find Kate. He also just wants to, I think, get away and get a fresh start because he's just frustrated.
Yeah.
And he feels stuck, and he doesn't like that.
That's fair.
I'm speculating a lot.
So, one of my favorite moments in this episode happens here, where Neil's trying to tell Mozzie about how he's, like, piecing together information about Kate. And he says, like, well, I know why Kate went to San Diego, and it's because that's where I told her I hid everything. And Mozzie's like, well, obviously that's not true, because you told me everything's in Portland.
Mm-hmm.
And Mozzie, like, pieces together. It's like, oh, you lied to both of us. You didn't trust either of us enough to tell us where you kept this treasure. And it's one thing to not have told her, but it's another thing to not have told me, because I've been there the entire time. And I think that's really interesting that Neil would keep that from Mozzie.
Me too.
It's one of those things that I feel like it'll be complicated for us to pick apart too much. Maybe it's a better conversation to come back within when we watch Forging Bonds, so we might put a pin in this conversation, kind of a thing.
Yes.
But Mozzie has been there with Neil literally since the beginning. His whole criminal journey has been next to Mozzie, at least to the extent the platforms Neil's gotten to, the levels he's reached.
Yeah.
And so it's really interesting to me that somewhere along the line, it implies that there was a separation between Neil and Mozzie.
Interesting. Because the way that I have it in my notes, I think it's more like, even though Neil does trust Mozzie implicitly, I think it's just he's been hurt and burned so many times that he can't really fully trust anyone. Mm-hmm. And so I don't know if it was like a loyalty test to him or if it was just like him trying to protect himself, even though he does trust them.
Right. It's just one of those things where as the show goes on, Mozzie and Neil become, especially in their crimes, become so intertwined that I'm like, it's hard to imagine Neil doing anything without Mozzie having some sort of knowledge. At least in the way that it's an awareness that Neil's doing something.
Yeah.
And so the idea that Mozzie, especially as Neil's fence, like supposedly up to a certain point, wouldn't know where all of the treasure truly was. Like, not even like by state.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. I feel like there's a big shift in Neil and Mozzie's dynamic between season 1 and the rest of the show.
100%.
Where they're so much closer in seasons 2 and on. They kind of ignore a lot of the dynamic they set up in season 1. They just rewrite it, kind of.
They do. Yeah. In that same vein, if I can build off of that, there's also a big difference between how Mozzie talks about and treats Peter at the beginning, and like how he is the rest of the season. Because in this scene, he says two things that stick out to me. Mm-hmm. One in this scene and one later. But he says they're talking about the surveillance video of when Kate said goodbye to Neil in prison, like the last time that he saw her. Mm-hmm. And how Neil really wants to see it because he thinks that maybe she like left him a code or something. Mm-hmm. And Mozzie's first suggestion is to just ask Peter for it. Yeah. Just ask. Which is crazy for Mozzie to say. Right. Like, he would never say that in seasons 2 and beyond. Never.
I don't fully agree with that.
Oh?
Because Mozzie starts to become just as much as Peter's friend as Neil is.
Okay, that's okay. He wouldn't say it in season 2 or 3. That's for sure.
I'll give it. I'll give it. I can't think of any counterpoints off the top of my head, so I will concede on it for the moment.
Okay. It's certainly like it almost feels out of character, especially this early.
Yeah, that's true. It's it definitely stands out to you. When you come back on a rewatch, that Mozzie would be like, well, you could turn to the suit.
Yeah. And it calls him your friend at the FBI. And then he says, you could ask. Mm-hmm. Like, he doesn't say you could steal it. He just says, you could ask. You could just ask him for it. Right. He also says, like, at the end of the episode, when they are watching the video, he says, it was nice of your FBI friend to give this to you. Yeah. Which is also, like... I don't know. It's one of those things that really sticks out.
I have it in my notes that he says it all condescending.
Oh, I didn't think it was condescending.
It reminds me of when a parent is like, what do you say?
Okay, yes. Yes, it does have that same kind of feel.
Where he's like, it feels like he's trying
Did you tell him thank you?
Right. If Peter was there, it'd feel like he's nudging Neil to say thank you.
Yeah. 100%.
But it's just one of those things that doesn't, like, that interpretation doesn't really impact anything. It just gives me that energy when I hear him say it.
Yeah, it's cute though.
It is cute. It's just very, very interesting.
August, a lot of the things that we talk about don't impact anything, yet we still are here discussing them.
God, but we'll get there at the end, but we're gonna talk about one thing that impacts everything, and I hate it. I hate the way they do it.
What?
The bottle.
The bottle.
But we gotta keep going. We gotta get back to where we were. They go back to the office.
Oh, they do. I skipped all of that. My next point is about Peter going to lunch with Elle.
Okay, right before that, they go to the office. There's some discussing about Gavotte. None of it's really. It just is set up for what happens next, really. But they leave the conference room after doing like a quick recap of like who the main suspects are, who they're investigating, whatever. And Peter gets ready to go to lunch, but Neil follows him into his office and asks Peter, he goes, so where are we headed for lunch? And Peter has to be actually today I'm going to go eat with Elle. And I thought that was really cute.
It is cute because he just like has this expectation, like, where are we going for lunch? Not like, hey, do you want to get lunch? It's where.
It's not like, are we going to lunch? Do you want to go to lunch? It's like, where are we going? Right now, where are we going? And it's like, oh, sorry, I have to go eat lunch with my wife, actually.
Yeah, can't do lunch today. Not this time. Mm-hmm. We'll return to our regularly scheduled lunch dates tomorrow.
But also that scene is where Neil asked him for the tape.
It is. Oh, yeah. Wait, do I have that? I thought I had that. Oh, the way Neil asked to see the tape is so vulnerable.
Yeah. I have it written down in, like, the whole dialogue. Where I fully have, Neil says, I need a favor. Ask for the tape. And Peter goes, you think that's a good idea? And I love Peter, like, looking out for Neil in that moment of, like, do you really want to see this tape of Kate?
Right, like, do you think that it will hurt you to see it? Do you think it's going to make you do something stupid?
Always Peter's concern.
And I like Peter's answer, too, because he turns it into a deal of sorts, which is such a Peter thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, if you do this, then you get that.
Right. But I think it's a good way to keep Neil's focus at the task at hand. If you don't think about it too hard, I feel like it sounds kind of manipulative of Peter. But when you know Neil and the way he just kind of, I don't want to say he meanders. That's not what I mean. He's easily distractible by what he thinks is important.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like Peter negotiating of, like, we got to do this first and then you can have your thing.
Yes. I like that you said negotiating, because that's how it felt to me. It didn't feel like manipulative. It felt like he was trying to, like, negotiate and also, like, motivate Neil and, like, keep him focused, like you said. It's cute.
Yeah.
But also very Peter, because he loves making deals.
Can I tell you an annoyance I have?
Yes.
And this, because it's one of those season 1 things that only feels icky because it's different than everything that happens next. But Peter goes to lunch with Elle under the assumption that he's in trouble because Elle asked him to meet for lunch.
Yes, agreed. Hard agree. It's like an awkward scene to watch on a rewatch because it doesn't feel like their dynamic at all.
And so that just bothers me.
It bothers me too. You can tell, like, the show was trying to find its legs. Like, the characters were getting developed.
Yeah.
Still.
They really were trying to make Peter a bad husband the first.
I love how quickly they abandoned that. I love Peter and Elizabeth's marriage. It's one of my favorite things about White Collar.
Yeah. And Peter being, like, the sweet, devout husband is so much more interesting than another, like, kind of gross cop husband.
Yes, absolutely. Because it's so rare to see that on TV. It's so rare.
In a similar vein is that I really don't like that Elizabeth doesn't know what kind of watch Peter would like.
Yes. I think it's interesting that he immediately hates the watch. I also think it's interesting that she thought that he was eyeing the watch in the warehouse, because it wasn't Peter who was eyeing it was Neil.
Yeah.
Neil was like, I like this. That would look good on you. And Peter's like, I mean, I guess I don't need this.
Yeah. But it's very disconnecting. It's very disconnected, Peter and Elizabeth.
It is.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I also don't like the implication that Peter's can't tell time on a clock without numbers.
Well, he can tell the time. He needs the minute hands. He's precise. He needs to know the exact minute.
I feel like Peter's too smart to not be able to tell time on a watch that doesn't have markings. He knew what time.
You think if you just saw a watch face with no numbers on it whatsoever, you would know exactly what minute it was?
I would be able to roughly guess, yes, because I know, like, the quarter divisions. I know that.
Roughly guess.
I could roughly guess.
But Peter needs it to be precise.
I don't know. It makes it just seem like he's dumb.
I disagree because it's like, I was wrong. There's 0 markings on this watch whatsoever. It doesn't even have the 3 or the 4 hour marks. There's nothing. It's just the minute, hour, and second hands.
Yeah, but.
And I think that's very fair, because Peter is very much a very precise person. He needs to know
it doesn't play, to me, it doesn't play like he's trying to be precise. To me, it plays like he doesn't understand it.
That's never hard to get. It's another one of those things we're going to disagree on. Because it didn't read to me like he didn't understand it. It was just like, it was too minimalist that he wasn't able to be precise with it. Because he looked at it and he was like, I'll be there in 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's fair, I guess. It's just not how I took it. It just always makes it seem like it's dumbing Peter down in a way that I don't agree with.
Okay. It's so interesting how we can have different interpretations. I mean that in the best way.
Over such stupid shit, but...
Ooh, switching to the next scene, I actually have something to say.
Ooh.
The next scene is like Neil going back to the office, and Tara's there, and she tells Neil that she's going into protective custody. And I know this is like way before we know anything about Neil's backstory, and probably way before it was even written, Neil's backstory at all, but he seems very concerned about her going into protection.
Yeah.
And that's a little detail that I love.
That's fair. I do like how concerned he is about that whole, especially because he feels responsible for it, because he's failed to get Gavat when he was right there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of through Neil's actions and unactions that she's ended up in more danger.
It's true. And then he says a little line that I love. He says, if anybody can catch Gavat, it's him. He's the best. Talking about Peter, and I love it. It's second episode, and he's like, nah, he can catch him.
You're right.
He can catch anyone.
So, Tara's being put in protective custody. Peter comes in and they talk a minute about catch up on the case, exchange information. They figure out Dimitri, who was in contact with Gavat, is taking part in like a photo shoot. And Neil comes up with an idea on how to get them in.
I think it just shows them there.
Yeah. So they go to this photo shoot. And there's a moment I really like, especially right after Neil hyping Peter up to Tara, is that he's like, oh, Peter's like, I can't show my badge. Everything will go to shit. Mm-hmm. And Neil's like, okay, well, do you trust me? And Peter just goes, nope.
Nope.
He doesn't know what Neil's planning in this moment.
Nope.
And they've been very good with each other up to this point, where Peter stood up for Neil with Hughes, and then Neil stood up for Peter with Tara. And then they get to here, it is just, do you trust me? No. Like, okay.
No.
But Peter still goes with it, so the words don't mean much, but...
No. I think it's like, Peter can tell that Neil's about to do some shenanigans, and he's like, whatever you're about to do, I know I'm gonna hate it.
Right.
It's cute. And then he, like, puts the sunglasses... Well, no. He tells him to stand there and look menacing, and he, like, goads him into actually being irritated. And then he's like, yes, there you go. Perfect.
It's very funny.
Oh, I love it. Their banter.
Neil gets information from Dimitri.
Trying to confirm that Dimitri is wanting to buy something from Gavat, I think, is the whole point of the scene. But there is one line there that I don't want to gloss over because I like it a lot.
Okay.
Dimitri says to Neil, I never got your name. And Neil just says, no, you didn't. And just stares him down until the guy, like, backs off. And I think that's so good.
That's fair. It's very clever of Neil.
Very clever. Like, the balls that you have to just be like, no, you didn't get my name, and then just leave it at that.
Right. And I think it comes with a lot of implications in the world that they're in.
Yeah.
Where it's, like, understood what Neil means by that. But it's very good. It's very entrenched in that world, that it sets up an understanding that you kind of have to think through just a little bit. The next one I had is as they're leaving the photo shoot, Neil's like hyping Peter up, and he tells him that he was much scarier than Dimitri's bodyguard.
Yes, I have that too. You're much scarier than that other guy. I love it.
It's so cute.
And they also like punch each other's shoulders, like not hard, obviously, just like a friendly punch, but it's so cute to me.
Yeah, so it's very good. It's a very good counteraction to the "Do you trust me?" No.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, I love them.
Love them. Anyway, what you got? I just have murder again in my notes.
I have Peter's line, ask me what I know about a Prada bag sometime.
That's fair. Yeah. I have in my notes
and I'm
about
so sad that that's never followed up on.
It's literally, I have in my notes, as I was just about to say, that he goes, we deal with a lot of knockoffs, and then they never deal with knockoffs.
Yes, exactly.
Like, what do you mean? You gave us a perfect setup, and you never follow through. I want to see them investigate knockoffs.
Right? I want to know what Peter knows about a Prada bag.
I also
My next point
hold
is
on.
when they're talking about the... Oh, go ahead.
I also want to just bring up how uncomfortable Neil is at this murder
Yes.
scene until they pull out the
Yes.
thread in the dress, or until they pull out the dress.
Yeah.
That's something he can actually focus on.
Neil does not like dead bodies at all. Neil is like,
No.
get me away from here.
Right? He's like standing off to the side looking really ill, and I like that.
Yes. It's one of those details that they definitely carry throughout the rest of the series. Just Neil's discomfort around violence and murder and guns.
And guns.
He hates those things. When they do pull the thread out and they're talking about it, the like security fiber thing, they make a whole big deal about how it can hold up to 4 gigs. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, that's definitely
4 whole gigs. Oh my God.
That's definitely something that's interesting, because as we finish the podcast, we both have like 1.5.
But it can hold so much information, August.
It can hold a single episode of this podcast. I like that Peter goes, they talk about what all could be on this thread. It's like, it could be nuclear codes. It could be the formula for new Coke.
Yes, the formula for new Coke.
It's a very Peter line, which I like. I like when he's deadpan.
Yes, which he is a lot, and it's cute. I love it.
Yeah, it's frequent.
One of my points is just, why does this designer make 2 dresses? Why?
Right, because it's also really weird of him to make the 2 dresses, and then when one's taken by a man who's threatening to kill his son if he doesn't do what he asks, it's weird for him to not tell this murderous man he took the wrong dress.
Right. And just like take that gamble and be like, it's probably fine, right? You know it's not fine.
Right. I'll just keep this one.
Okay.
It's just very, very interesting.
It is. It is. But the designer does seem like a sweetheart. I have that in my notes too. He's
fair.
Soft.
He's trying hard.
He is.
And he cooperates very nicely.
He does. Yeah.
Even though it could put his family at risk.
And Peter's so sweet to him too. Like he just wants to hear him out, and he's concerned about his family. I love Peter.
I love Peter so much. They take Tara in the dress that they just got from the designer, the one that Gavat's now looking for.
Yes.
Neil takes her out to dinner in it so they can show off and get Gavat's attention.
Yes.
And she talks about, she's like, oh, I wish I could wear this dress on a runway. And I feel so bad for Tara in this whole episode, because she's come to New York Fashion Week to like do a job, and now her job is key witness.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let her get on a runway.
Instead of like being on the runway and doing all the model things, she's helping the FBI with their investigation and in protective custody, and not at all what she was supposed to be there for.
Right. It
Poor
just makes me
Tara.
feel bad. Poor Tara.
And she's so sweet too. She's such a sweetheart.
And she's cooperating so nicely.
She is.
Which is good.
Like, she just wants to help.
Well, she wants to do her job, and she's kind of being made to help. Which is, I get it. She wants to catch a murderer. She's a good sport about it. I'm just like, I feel bad. I'm like, I hope she got to do some good work after this.
Right. I hope she did get to like go out on the runway and strut her stuff and feel better about everything that she's been through.
Right.
I think it's very extra that Gavat had a cell phone delivered to Neil on a giant platter, and then to have it ring immediately after the waiter brings it up. It's very extra.
He sat and waited for Neil to pick it up before he called.
He did. Oh, I have a whole rant about... I have a whole rant.
What do you have a whole rant on?
So... both this scene and the scene after, when like they're in the like restaurant or wherever they are, and Gavat is talking on the phone to Neil, and then also the following scene where they're like in the office and Gavat calls, the whole thing, like Gavat is so focused on this dress, and it irritates me a lot. Like the first couple of times I watched this episode, I just kind of like went with it and I didn't think about it too hard. But now every time I watch it, I'm like, but you don't actually care about the dress. So why are you making it about the dress? Like that thread is easily removable. Easily, like they could have taken it out and just given him the dress, And he's so focused on this dress, he apparently wouldn't have noticed. He didn't even check for it. It irritates me. Like, why are you so focused on this dress? It's not about the dress. Why are you not just asking for the thread back? I don't get it. I don't understand. It's frustrating.
I just assume it's because he didn't think they would find it.
Okay. But he makes a point. He says to Neil, you know what you have. And Neil is like, yeah, I know what I have.
Yeah. I don't really have any good rebuttals. It also just doesn't make me mad.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like that, I guess.
It's fair. That happens to us.
It does happen to us.
I got no hard opinions in either way, so I'll let you have your rant.
I like to nitpick things sometimes, you know?
And we all got the things we're gonna nitpick.
Exactly.
I tell you what I'm gonna nitpick? I'm gonna nitpick it, but I kind of like it.
Okay.
Is that Gavotte calls after he's kidnapped Tara, and Jones says that they kidnapped Tara by shooting up the van that she was in.
Yes.
And Jones is like, but everybody was all right.
I thought he said the two died, but Tara was fine.
No, they were wearing vests.
Oh.
Which implies that they are all right, but despite the car being blasted to hell.
Right. And if they weren't wearing vests, they wouldn't be all right. But Tara wasn't wearing a vest, so why is she all right?
Right? And also, like, their heads and stuff were fine. Their legs, their arms, anything not covered by the vest, easily, like, whatever. So, I wrote that it's a cute detail, because I like that they are trying to minimize casualties rather than being very careless with them.
Okay, yeah.
But I also think it's interesting that they were like, yeah, the car got blasted up, but everybody lived. Yeah. Everybody's fine.
Everybody's fine.
Like, I feel like you just could rewrite it so the car's not blasted up to hell. You could just have them be held at gunpoint or something.
Yeah, something plausible,
but
I'm sure.
Whatever. It's nitpicking in a thing that I'm grateful for, so I assume it'd be nitpicking.
I like it. Peter has a really good line to me in this exchange when he's talking to Gavotte on the phone. Gavotte tells him to make sure that he brings the dress, like the real dress, and Peter says, "If it's not, are you gonna make me eat it?" Like calling back to the murder that happened, and I love it.
I also had that written, so it's a very good line. It's another dry deadpan Peter line. I love it. I love when he does that.
I love his delivery of it. I love the line itself. It's just so good.
After that, they cut to Gavotte demands that Peter meets him the next morning to exchange the dress for Tara.
Right.
And so they cut to Peter and Neil leaving after work. One of the very few times the show will have a night shot of NYC, Peter and Neil walking down the street at night.
I knew you were going to mention it.
I love it. They hardly ever do it. They definitely don't do it much after season 1.
Yeah, they really don't.
It's so pretty. I want to rave about it for so long, and I won't. But Neil's feeling very guilty. He tells Peter that it was his fault that Tara got kidnapped.
Yeah. Oh, Neil.
And now Peter's in danger. It's very Neil taking accountability in the moment, which I like.
Yeah, me too. I like that Neil's solution, because Peter knows, like, this guy knows our playbook. He's going to know exactly what we're going to do. And Neil says, if he expects you to have a plan, don't have one. Like, just wing it. The best plan is no plan. And I like that a lot.
It's very Neil thinking.
It is. He's not wrong.
He's not wrong. And I think Peter believes him a little bit, or I think Peter shows that he's scared, which I like.
Yeah.
Because he asks Neil what he would do. And I also think that Neil shows that he's worried as well, because he tells Peter to go home and have dinner with his wife. Yeah. And I think that all that encompasses the fact that the next day might go wrong.
Yeah. It's very, like, they're not cavalier about this. They know that there's inherent risk in this, and I like that they don't take it lightly in this moment.
Right.
It shows, like, Peter's nervous. It shows that Elle's nervous when Peter goes home and, like, tells her what's going to happen and, like, explains everything to her.
Yeah, they have a very cute scene between Elle and Peter.
They do.
Where Elle gives him his old watch back
Yes.
with its number ticks and all,
Yep.
so that Peter can be precise.
Because he needs to be himself, so he needs his watch.
Yeah, those lines were very cute.
Very cute.
And
very them.
Very them. Very good classic Peter and Elizabeth in the way that almost kind of every scene they're in together hasn't really been.
Yeah, it's like the first time that we really see Peter and Elizabeth how they are the rest of the series, I think.
So the next morning they go back to the office.
They do.
They are getting ready to go meet with Gavotte.
Everybody has an assignment except for Neil. And Neil is like asking Hughes, like, where am I gonna be? And Hughes says, Hughes says, on a coffee run, you're not even supposed to be here.
Right.
Which is, it's an interesting line because where else should he be? He's at work. He's where he's supposed to be. What do you mean he's not supposed to be here?
I assume he's not supposed to be part of that meeting and such.
I guess. But why wouldn't he be? I don't know. I think it just shows, like, Hughes does not trust Neil yet.
Right. I have earlier in that bit, they are talking about how they cracked the code. It's a holographic code of the latest European currency seal. I'm looking at a transcript. But Peter says we're putting this girl's life at risk. And Hughes rebuttals with, we could put the entire monetary system of Europe at risk. And I really think that moment's interesting of how Peter's so focused on what's going to happen to Tara.
Yeah.
And Hughes is kind of like, that's not the main concern right now. The main concern I have is making sure Gavotte doesn't get this code.
Yeah, because it would be really bad if he did.
Right. It's just a very trolley problem moment where Peter's focused on the one and Hughes is focused on the all.
Yeah.
It shows the interesting priorities each of the characters have in the moment, where neither of them are wrong, but it's definitely different between them.
It is. My next point is just Neil showing up to the van.
Yeah. They go to the van at the drop. Gavotte asks Peter to go to Central Park to meet him.
Yes.
And so the van's set up. There's agents in plainclothes everywhere. And Neil just walks in, like grinning and everything.
Walks up to the van and he knocks on the door. He just knocks on the door and he's like, can I come in?
Unsubtle as all hell.
So cute.
There's an interesting moment where Peter is told to go to one part of the park and Gavotte calls him and tells him to actually go to a different part in like 60 seconds.
Yeah.
Which, one, is interesting because it falls back into that if you have a plan, don't have a plan. Because Peter's immediately loses all of his backup and everything by being told to run and that nobody else can move. I think Gavotte says something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing that Peter's got backup around him. Gavotte tells him this specifically to isolate Peter better. And then the separate point I have is poor Tim having to run all those angles. Because the man runs. He runs a distance. Like he downstairs, through a tunnel.
He runs so fast.
Runs so fast, so far. And every time I watch it, I'm like, how many times did they film this?
Right.
How many times did he go running?
At least they didn't make him carry a full bag, though, because that garment bag is very clearly empty.
I knew you were going to say that.
It is very clearly empty. He just has to hold up an empty bag while he runs.
It's just as bad as them carrying empty mugs sometimes.
Right. I think it's really slick how Peter signaled the number to them. I loved how he did that.
Oh, right. Gavotte calls him when he first gets to the Central Park.
Yeah.
And Peter answers the phone and starts signaling with his fingers the numbers. Yes. So that the people in the van can know what number is calling him.
Yeah, so they can like try to trace it or do whatever they're doing. I love it. It's such a brilliant moment from Peter.
Right, which is why I don't like the clock scene.
Okay. Well, it ties into another brilliant moment from Neil because after Peter gets to where he's going after running so far,
right?
Tara's there and she's wearing a belt that Gavotte put on her that has like plastic explosives on it. And he makes a point of like, once I walk away, if you try to do anything, I'm going to call a number and that belt's gonna explode. Like, let me walk away and everyone will live, right? Basically.
Right.
And Neil has the brilliant idea to jam the phone just by having everybody call it over and over and over so that he can't try to call. And I love that. It's so smart of Neil.
It really is. It's such a good moment from him when none of the agents around him are really taking any action to prevent Gavotte from blowing up this bomb strapped to Tara.
Yeah, Neil is like the only one who has the idea of we should block the phone, and then he can't.
Right. I do think it's really interesting that Neil takes control of the investigation, essentially. He starts ordering people around, then he jumps out of the van, runs to where Peter is, gives him orders, and then starts running after Gavotte. And I'm like, my guy.
Yeah, he does. He just takes control, puts himself in charge. And then Hughes kind of backs him a little bit because he tells Lauren to stay with him.
Right. Well, he tells Lauren to stay with him because Neil's already running.
He's gone. He is out the van.
I don't know if that's really so much backing Neil as save his ass, which was needed.
Yeah, that's true.
Which was needed.
Which she does do.
Neil fully gets a gun pointed at his everything. Neil fully gets... I can't remember where the... I can't remember where the gun gets aimed.
And no, you got it. It's everything.
Somewhere Gavatte's gonna shoot him until Lauren shows up.
Yeah, Neil gets a gun pointed at his everything, and Lauren tackles the shit out of Gavotte. Just brings
She
him
doesn't
down.
even like just tackle him. She like rips his arm behind his back and fully like overpowers him. It's so cool. Neil even goes, that was pretty damn charming.
Yes, I love it. It was a good line from Neil.
Good line from Neil.
So Peter gets the belt off of Tara, right?
Yeah.
And I get what he's doing by throwing it, like he's trying to get it a safe distance away, but every single time I'm like, Peter, don't throw bombs. What are you doing?
That's so fair.
If you don't want it to explode, you probably shouldn't throw it. And also, why not, if you're gonna throw it, why not throw it like into the fountain instead of like out in the open?
I think it's because
they're right next to a fountain.
That's so fair. I think it's because it would create more shrapnel. But I don't know.
I guess. I feel like the water.
I'm not a bomb expert. I just said a man could get shot in his everything. I do love that moment. Besides the bomb throwing thing, because Peter like fully like covers Tara with his own body, which I really think is sweet.
He does. It's cute. It's very sweet. And then Neil calls him out. He's like, "Oh, you're really doing the hero thing."
And it's so funny. I love that bit because Neil says that, and then Peter goes, "Yeah, they're gonna write songs about this." And it's just the cherry on top of deadpan Peter in this episode.
It's so good. I love it. Oh, I love how Neil tries to like take credit almost for the takedown.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, I sideswiped him." And then Peter's just like, "You don't look dirty." Like, clearly, I know you didn't sideswipe him. And Neil's just like, "I know what I'm doing."
Okay. We're getting to the final scene that happens in this episode.
We are.
Where after they've settled the case and Peter promised Neil to get him the security tape so that Neil and Mozzie are watching it. And Rainey,
yes,
the scene makes no sense to me. All of it's unnecessary, I think. I think this whole scene could be cut and the plot would stay the same.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you don't think that he needs to see that she was doing Morse code?
No.
To know that he needs to, like, examine the bottle? You think he just should have been smart?
Surprisingly, yes. I do think Neil should have just been smart.
Okay. My issue with it is she supposedly was, like, tapping on her leg in Morse code while she was breaking up with him to, like, tell him to look at the bottle, right? But it took him a month to break out of prison, a month and a half, and he only missed her by 2 days.
Yeah.
So she was telling him to look at this bottle, but he only missed her by 2 days. How did she know when he was going to get out?
Yeah.
It really doesn't make any sense. Also, like, it's such an emotional moment. How could she have that kind of concentration to be able to tap out Bottle in Morse code while standing there stone-faced breaking up with Neil while he's like literally palm on the glass pleading with her.
But also, Rainey.
Yes.
Neil's clearly not looking at her typing this Morse code message. Did she seriously think Neil was gonna go get the security footage to watch this moment back?
Exactly. Also an excellent point. What, like, she could tell he wasn't looking. She could tell.
Yeah.
Like,
there wasn't a different way that she could leave the message bottle, but also she left the bottle. The bottle was already left. If Neil thought it could have a message in it, then Neil should have just been smart and been looking for a message in the bottle. I hate the plot point that she had to tell him bottle a second time for him to start looking at the bottle.
But August, the bottle is the message.
Exactly. Neil should have figured that out on his own. This Morse code moment is dumb.
Yes, I agree.
We're going to end this episode snippy.
Snippy. Because of Kate.
You got any more on this bottle moment, or do we want to go to our rapid fire? Anything we got left over?
I'm trying to see if I have anything for a rapid fire, because I hit most of my points.
Nice. We were pretty thorough with this one.
I have. Just a couple of things.
What'd you got?
I love that to get a cab, Neil just holds out a 20, and Peter's like, that's not going to work, and then it immediately works.
I don't know why Peter would think that wouldn't work. Of course it worked.
Right, of course.
That's so stereotypical New York behavior that it feels like it should have been obvious to Peter that would work.
Right. Like, if you want a cab to stop for you, hold out some cash, a cab's going to stop. I know nothing about New York, but I know that.
I have, just in the beginning, that I really like Peter's really simplistic watch. I like that he's very... It goes back to what I was saying earlier, that Peter's very practical.
He is.
It's a leather watch with a simple face. It does its job. He doesn't want flash and flare.
Yes. Exactly.
So I just like how Peter's personality is reflected in the watch that he likes.
Yeah, I like that too. It's a good detail of like costuming, I guess, and character development. Right. I like it. This is probably the littlest detail that I could possibly point out. But Neil's very excited about the ghost, right? And he says my favorite word, like literally my favorite word in the whole English language is nefarious. I don't know why. It's my favorite word. And Neil says it, and that just makes me happy. Told you, littlest detail means nothing, but it's my favorite word.
I love that for you. When they go to the party set, as they're setting it up, there's this gorgeous 360 shot around Peter and Neil standing on this rooftop.
Yes.
Just looking up all the skyscrapers around them.
It's a beautiful shot. It's a beautiful venue. Gorgeous. When Neil and Peter are pitching the idea to Hughes, and then Hughes like walks out, Neil tries to go after him, and Peter like grabs his arm kind of hard and like pulls him back.
Yeah.
And then just like a few seconds after that, after like they get Hughes on board, Peter's like grabbing Neil's shoulder to like get him to be like, no, you're gonna take the $5,000 that Hughes is offering you, right? So he's like kind of a little rough with Neil. And then right afterwards, Neil is like trying to be celebratory and like hits his chest. Not even hard. He just like kind of, pushes it. And Peter's like, no, don't do that.
They could only be handsy on Peter's terms.
Yes. Which is all the time.
You're not wrong.
I also have stand a little closer, you two.
I have in the scene where right after Neil asks Mozzie to pick his anklet and they're having that whole discussion about the security camera footage and all that. Mm-hmm. Neil also shows Mozzie this old love letter from Kate.
Yes.
And showing the way that they used to leave hidden messages for each other, which should have just been for the bottle. I don't know why we're doing this Morse code thing, whatever. But Neil hands the letter to Mozzie, and Mozzie starts reading it, and he's like, what is this cringe crap, basically?
Yeah, it's so cringe.
And Neil, like, pulls it from him, and Mozzie says, like, I'm trying to be supportive. And it makes me laugh, because Mozzie's just sitting there arguing and bickering.
I also have that. I'm trying to be supportive, and I said, "Are you?"
He's trying to be supportive in a very Mozzie way, especially Mozzie in season 1 about Kate, which is not very supportive.
But he did. I also like added a caveat to that. He did actually like try to make Neil feel better about the anklet by like telling him the story about the guy that had to hold his leg out of the shower, and he said, "You have it better. You have 2 whole miles."
It's very Mozzie in that he doesn't like what Kate does to Neil, and so he's like trying to ground Neil out of the effect Kate has on him.
Yeah.
And so he has very little patience for entertaining things about Kate, but he does still try and help, which is sweet.
He does. He's a good friend. Speaking of Mozzie being a good friend, when Neil and Peter are like talking about the venue, Peter's all like irritated because Neil keeps getting all these supermodels that are coming to his party. He was like, "Oh, is that another supermodel?" And Neil says, "No, it's just a friend." And I'm always like, I bet it's Mozzie.
Yeah, that's fair. I have way down later in the episode when Neil and Tara are at the restaurant where he gets the phone call. I like that Peter and Lauren are pretending to be on a date to each other so that they can eavesdrop on what Neil and Tara are doing.
Yes, inconspicuously in the background. And Lauren notices the watch, too. She's like, "Oh, did you get a new watch?"
It's so cute. Also, Lauren's dressed the absolute fucking nines, and Peter's still in his work clothes. And I understand that Peter's work clothes is a nice suit, and Lauren's work clothes are like a shirt and trousers. And so now she's in like a nice dress for a fancy restaurant. But it still like sticks out to me a little bit that I'm like, Peter's made no changes, and she's like in glitz and glamour.
Yeah. It's cute. And it's a good dress, too. I like Lauren's dress.
It is a good dress.
I like Lauren's dress more than I like this designer dress.
That's fair.
That's most of my stuff. Okay. When Neil pitches this idea to Peter, like to throw the party, I love the rhetorical question from Peter because he says, "Is it your birthday?" He knows when Neil's birthday is. He knows it's not his birthday. It's just part of their banter. But I also love the implication that if it was Neil's birthday, he would be on board with him throwing a party.
That's so funny. One last point. In the scene where Peter and Elizabeth are talking before the takedown of Gavotte in Central Park, where Elizabeth gives him his old watch back, I just have that Elizabeth's in PJs.
Oh, she
Because
is.
after season 1, they are always putting Elizabeth in business wear. In like casual business wear. And I'm like, let Elizabeth look like a normal human, a normal wife at home. Let her wear PJs.
Yes. It's so good. Like, let her be comfy.
She's always in business casual. Let her put sweats on. Let her not wear heels in her own house and a blazer.
Right. Yes. She doesn't have to be all dressed up. She's at home. When I get home, I change.
And so I love that in season 1, Elizabeth gets to dress down. They don't give her that privilege for long.
They don't. They take it away. My last point is just a line from Peter when they're talking to Hughes. He says, "I say we trust his instincts on this one." And I don't know. It's just a little line that means a lot to me.
Yeah. Cute.
Because he doesn't even trust Neil's instinct on this one, but he's telling Hughes that they should.
Yeah.
It's cute.
He's very much vouching for Neil in the moment where he's putting a lot of faith in Neil, even if he's not putting a lot of trust.
Ooh. You're so good at saying little things like that are they just hit.
It's much better than Neil gets shot in his everything. Anyway, Rainey, you want to give us our outro before you can make fun of me?
Yes.
I realized what I was saying, and I realized I had to cut you off from responding.
Okay. You can follow us on Instagram, X, Blue Sky, and TikTok at Alleged Details, or on Tumblr and YouTube at All the Alleged Details. If you want to support our show, have ad-free episodes, early access to episodes, and bonus content, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/All the Alleged Details. Our theme song is called Allegedly, and it was written for us by babydollbucky, and our artwork was made for us by Cheyenne Couture. You can find links to their info on our Tumblr. August.
Rainy.
We made a podcast.
Ooh. People can join us next week when we're going to talk about whatever the fuck episode comes next.
Book of Hours.
Can you tell it's late and we're losing it?
We are. It is late. We are losing it.
It turns out us being deranged isn't just relegated to 7-hour recording sessions. Sometimes we just are this weird.
Sometimes we're just like that.
Maybe more frequently than not.
I think people enjoy this energy, though.
Oh, man. Good. We got it in spades.
We sure do.
And they can find it more next week.